Charlie Kirk was shot dead today. Let's take a look at the legacy that he will leave behind. So how about we start with his campaign to dismantle the legacy of the civil rights movement. In a December 2023 speech, Charlie Kirk didn't just critique Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he launched a full-scale character assassination, labeling him as awful and not a good person, claiming he's only admired for saying things he didn't actually believe. Now, he went even further. Kirk called the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 a huge mistake and argued that it created a permanent DEI type of bureaucracy. Now, he pushed the radical theory as well that the act, in his words, superseded the U.S. Constitution. And then when he was challenged, he doubled down, calling MLK a mythological anti-racist creation, and then bragged about targeting the sacred cow of modern America. On abortion, he publicly celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And here's what he said when he was asked if he would force his own 10-year-old daughter to carry a pregnancy to term after she was assaulted.
And she was 10 and she got raped. And she was going to give birth and she would, no, wait. Oh, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Now, on gun violence, he consistently downplayed America's gun violence epidemic.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
On race in Black America, Charlie Kirk supported a ban on DEI, overturning the Civil Rights Act and promoting a whitewash version of history. He supported banning AP African American Studies and even said that when it comes to slavery, there's a lot more to the story. And when it comes to Black professionals, on pilots, he stated, if I see a Black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He also blamed Black people for the air traffic controller crisis. He frequently disparages Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson as a diversity hire and insisted that she was only appointed because she's a Black woman. He denies that systemic racism even exists and supports punitive sentencing and then referred to George Floyd as a scumbag. He even led the efforts to pardon Derek Chauvin, the police officer that was convicted of his murder. Now, on women and misogyny, he's no better. His misogyny covers us all. He went on a bizarre rant directed at Taylor Swift, instructing her to submit to her husband, and he also claimed that men don't want to date women in their 30s because we're not at our prime. On LGBTQ plus rights, Charlie Kirk has labeled the LGBTQ plus community a cult. He even cited a Bible verse that calls for gay people to be put to death as God's perfect law. He advocates for a nationwide ban on gender-affirming care and calls the transgender identity a lie that hurts people and abuses kids. On democracy and January 6th, his group, Turning Point USA, was deeply involved in efforts to try and overturn the 2020 election. He bragged about sending 80 buses to Washington, D.C. on January 6th for people to fight for Donald Trump. And then when he was subpoenaed by the House committee investigating the insurrection, he pled the fifth. On Palestine, he denies the very existence of the Palestinian people and their homeland and says outright that Palestinians in Palestine just doesn't exist.
I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place.
He has routinely championed what Israel's doing in Gaza, a genocide. He's championed it, and he's a friend to Israel. Also rallied against COVID-19 and public health measures to stop the spread of the virus, spread dangerous vaccine information. His organization also said something blatantly false about Jamie Foxx and said that he was paralyzed and blind from a COVID vaccination. On student loan forgiveness, he opposed student loan forgiveness despite his own group, Turning Point USA, taking $350,000 in COVID relief PPP loans that were later forgiven. Charlie was the founder of Turning Point USA. Their tactics include a professor watch list that is designed to intimidate and harass academics, a school board watch list targeting officials who support public health measures or the teaching of accurate history. He also meddles in student government elections to defund progressive groups. On Trump and Christian nationalism, he played a huge role in getting Trump elected. He organized voter drives and events, and he's often credited for delivering the youth vote for Trump. He invokes the Seven Mountains Mandate, a call for conservative Christians to seize control of all aspects of society. He says Donald Trump is a crucial figure in restoring this so-called Christian morality and has even called for a full military occupation of American cities after the DC occupation to restore order. So knowing all of that, how do you think Charlie Kirk will be remembered?